Hi guys, Debbie DuBois here. We are going to do our weekend Oracle Outlook for Saturday, December 1st through Sunday, December 2nd. Before we get started, I'm going to just take a deep, long breath in. And I'd like to ask you to do this with me. We're going to just calm our energies. I'm going to take a deep breath in. And just let that air out. Relax. We're going to call in whatever divine assistance is here for all of us. I'm going to ask that the information that come forth be of the highest quality and for the best benefit of all involved and all of you who watch this. And if you happen to watch this when it is other than December 2nd and December 1st, then this is a reading that you are supposed to get at that particular time. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This is a reading, I call it an Oracle Outlook. It is a reading that I've been doing for myself for about 2 months now. And Source kind of prompted me to say this really works for everybody and to go ahead and start putting out a reading. So I do one on the weekend and I do one on Monday for everybody for the whole week. And what this is I use the Shamanic Healing deck, it's Oracle cards, to kind of give me a focus. All right, so this is going to be a focus of healing for this period of time. And most of the people that are watching this, you are probably twin flames, twin souls, you are on a catalytic heart awakening path. You've had rapid awakening and you probably have been working your butt off trying to clear patterns of imperfection so that you can come into union first within yourself and then another. Now what's interesting about this whole path is that the more we actually go further on this path, the more all of this translates into our interactions with everybody. So we start having sacred relationships with everything around us. And that's why this is such an important part of the work we do, is to have a focus on what we're going to work on and what we're going to clear. And we're clearing not just for us, but we're also clearing for the collective. So I know there's been a lot of times where I've done some of that really big clearing for huge patterns. And I did that this week. The last reading I did was actually for abundance. But it's really funny. Some of the stuff that came up for me around abundance, you wouldn't think it was abundance, but it really was. So very interesting. But to keep that in the back of my mind, and as a result, I did end up picking up 2 brand new pieces of business this week. So, you know, it translated into the abundance and the way we think of abundance, right? But it also cleared a lot of patterns that would stop me from having abundance of all things. Happiness was a really big one of it. Peace of mind was another really big part of that. So, all right, let's take a look and let's see what we are going to work on today. All right, here we go. All right, so what I do is I just shuffle and I take the first card and I just ask 1 card only, please. Because for some reason there's more, but all right, there's the first card to come up. Ha! Interesting. It's all good. The card that came up is it's all good. All right, I can think of so many different ways that this fits in with where we're at right now, because there are so many things going on right now, and not just in the collective for the twin flame and lightworker community and all of that, but also for the geopolitical scene. And this card is basically saying it's all good, guys. So please stay focused on the fact that everything that is happening right now is happening for good. Now, I always pull the book out for the Shamanic Healing deck. This is card number 18, and I like to read it because it usually has a lot of extra information in there. Every experience you have in your lifetime has the potential to be a teaching tool. By remembering and embracing this idea, the situations you encounter become less fraught with unneeded emotion and drama. By not attaching labels or expectations to people and situations, you allow the pure divine energy to flow unimpeded. While you may have little control over what happens to you at times, you always have control over how you react. Do you react on impulse? Do you strike out at others when you feel hurt? Do you crawl into your safe place when the world seems mean and hurtful? Face this challenge in your life head on. Be thankful for the opportunity to experience whatever is happening. Set yourself a goal of learning from every situation in your life. Find the silver lining. It's there. Well, that's really interesting as I read that, because one of the things that happened to me this last week in my clearing patterns was I dealt with an old familial pattern. And I don't even think it was necessarily just a familial pattern. I really think that this pattern was actually, in terms of a global, and what I had to do was, I had to come to terms with the fact that I had not really done the work around this pattern, and I didn't realize it. It's been going on for several years, and it is affected by, relationships and things of that nature. It affects everything. And so I was asked to do some work on it, and I was really resisting. So I asked a very dear friend of mine to help me with the problem. And it was interesting because what he did was guided me into a kind of like a meditation that was talking about going into gratitude. Going into a place of gratitude for all of these things that were happening to me that felt so entirely horrible. And from a place of gratitude, suddenly I was able to accept everything is good in this situation. Every single thing, the good, the bad, the ugly, it's all showing up for my benefit. It's all showing up to shift and change everything around me. So that's why it was extremely important to go ahead and go into acceptance. Well, it sounds like someone is driving by with a really loud bass in their car. I can hear it like still. My goodness. All right, well, you probably didn't hear that, but I was beginning to wonder if someone was watching a movie in my house or something. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at what do we need to let go of in order for us to understand that everything is in complete divine order, that it's all good. Everything is there for the best, for what's happening. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick cut. All right, so let's see what it is that this is a surrender deck. We're going to say, what is it that we need to surrender in order for us to do this healing? Well, I always take the one card that comes up first. All right, that's the first card I saw. So, surrender to the wonder and awe. So it says, open to the magic of every moment and sense the awe and wonder in all of life. This attitude will keep you connected to the ecstasy of flow. Isn't that amazing? So basically what this weekend is about is how we can understand that everything is absolutely the way it's supposed to be. All right? It's all good. And what do we need to do? We need to surrender to the magic and the power of this moment. And it's beautiful. It's perfect just the way it is. Really, really profoundly affected by that pattern that I worked on this week and learned about the surrendering to gratitude. I'm going to talk a little bit about clearing techniques in December 9th's workshop. Don't forget we have the December 9th workshop with Marla Kelly, with Angie and Rob of Twinfinity, of course, Marla Kelly's with Transtrology. We have Encompass Yourself, Kelly McKinstry, sorry about that, Cal. And Dio Veselinoff from I Am Twin Flame, and of course me, Debbie DuBois. So But one of the things that I'm going to be speaking on is about clearing techniques and a lot of things that we can do to go into peace and healing about some things that we're working on. Because no matter how far along we come on this journey, it does seem that there are just continuous layers upon layers. It's like the onion that gets peeled away for us to rise to higher and higher and higher perspectives. So, and it can be really disturbing when you've worked really hard. It can be very disturbing when you go back into places that feel uncomfortable. But it is for the purpose of healing. So that's why I think this this kind of a reading is been very, very helpful for me. I hope you're finding it helpful for you too. All right, so let's look at the purpose. This is a purpose deck, Doreen Virtue, and we are going to take a look at what is the purpose behind all of this? What is the reason why this is such a focus right now for us? All right. Oh, and there we go. Okay, so a card came up. All right, there's two cards that came up, and I'm going to take them both because they are really closely aligned with each other. All right. The reason why we have to surrender to what is happening in terms of, you know, everything in its divine order and everything's happening for the good is because right now we are going to be asked, it is time to make some decisions. All right? Make a decision based on your heart's true desire. So we've got some decisions to make, and that's why it's so important for us to understand that everything that's coming to us is for the good, and it's also the purpose of this whole exercise is we're going to want to be in a really good space when we make some decisions. So we've got some really big decisions to make. And what came right along with that card is the options card. Consider the career possibilities that are open to you. I want to say this is career related, but this is also how you choose to respond to things. It's time to decide, are you going to step into that higher aspect of yourself, and are you going to respond to things based on your heart's desire? Or, you know, what are the other options? You know, what other options do you have? So what options are there in terms of how you respond to the situation? Do you choose to respond with your emotions? Do you respond with action? Do you respond with inaction and run away? But we've got some decisions to make coming up, and that is why it's so important for us to know that everything is good. Everything is here for a reason. And very interesting. I love these two cards. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them right here. I'll put them right here like this. Because usually yeah, here we go. All right. So that's that. Let's look at how this is going to affect our abundance. I'm still getting some information on this options and time to decide. There's going to be some stuff starting to happen. And it's going to be very important for us to decide to stay in our higher selves. To stay in our higher selves as we have things on a higher level of like geopolitical and the worldwide shifts and changes. It's really time to decide how you're going to stand. Are you going to stand in love? Or are you going to go into battle? Are you going to stand in your heart and your center? Or are you going to go into judgment? Are you going to allow things to be revealed? Or are you going to think you know? So that is what I'm getting off of these cards here. You know what? I am going to put them over here. And this is a time to decide card. The option card was like secondary, so I'm going to put it behind it. Time to decide how you're going to respond to the things that are happening. Are you going to surrender with wonder and awe? Or are you going to freak out? And a lot of us, I know, a lot of times it's like if you don't remember everything is exactly the way it is and have a lot of gratitude for, you know, the hard, I had a really, really, really hard week. I had one of my hardest weeks in terms of, you know, just I want to just say a personal situation with conflict. And it was draining, it was exhausting, and all of this stuff, actually in two fronts. But it was all good. I needed to surrender to the gratitude of those situations being brought to me. So, and that's where I felt I learned to decide that, hey, you know, I can either continue to battle this situation, or I can go into it's all good. So anyways, here we are. Let's look at abundance. Let's figure out how this, knowing it's all good, knowing everything that's here, how does this affect our abundance? One card only, please. And boy, these cards, they just, there goes. Successful funding. Well, that's great. All right, so successful funding. Let's see what this card says. Let's take a look at it. All right. Your idea is divinely guided and supported by the same infinite wisdom of God that gave you the idea. Do not allow money concerns to prevent you from turning it into reality. Crowdfunding, partnerships, and other investments are available to help you. This card is very interesting because it goes along with something that I really am starting to talk more about, and that is collaboration. And it is one of the reasons why we are doing this workshop on Sunday. We are starting to realize that this experience that we're having is starting to bring us into collaboration, because the more and more we get rid of our obstacles to love, or our insecurities, or our decision to be, we need to be right, or there's only so much money to go around, all those kind of thoughts that are the me thoughts. Once you start getting into the we thoughts, then you start being able to create collaborative ventures. And now it's like almost everything I'm doing is extremely collaborative. Everything from my web design, where I work very closely with my clients to create what they're really looking for, through, you know, like the spiritual workshop we're doing. And even in my family, trying to do a little bit more collaboration. What this is saying is, and here we've got some decisions. Remember, decisions to make based on our heart's desires, and everything's coming to us that needs to come to us. Everything's in perfect order. Well, this is basically saying is you've got all kinds of opportunities to turn some of your ideas into tangible results. The energy of money, which is, of course, a lot of us need that, the monetary aspect, just so that, you know, we can continue to provide the service that we do. This is basically saying that there's all kinds of money available to you. All right. When you put forth this idea, God gives you ideas, and that means it's going to flow towards you. There's a lot of the flow of the abundance that comes when you start moving into this collaborative energy. So yeah, I'm really liking that card. Now let's talk about how is this particular weekend affecting your love life. All right, let's look at our unions. Let's look at our relationships. And, you know, these cards, they are also very indicative of, you know, this path, this dance that we do with our sacred partners, our twins. It's an ebb and flow dance. And, you know, sometimes we have to realize that sometimes these things really suck. And I don't know how many times I had talked to people this week, and you get to the point where it's like, oh my God, how much more of this am I supposed to take? And then, you know, but then you have periods of time where everything's really good, and then things get difficult again. Well, this card here again is that reminder. It's all in perfect order. It's all good. Everything has to be that way. So surrender to this process, the wonder and awe of the things that this process teaches you. And some of you may have to make some decisions on that, you know, what you do in that partnership. You can't really necessarily determine like the connection, but you can certainly determine, you know, how you're going to react to things, how you're going to open your heart more, how you're going to go into gratitude and things like that. So, all All right, let's go ahead and pull a Romance Angel card, another Doreen Virtue deck. I love this one. I think I'll cut them first. All right, so let's see. How is all of this weekend affecting our sacred partnerships? Where are we at with our love life? First card. All right, let's see. Oh, interesting. Worth waiting for. Worth waiting for. I can just let that sink in. I'm just taking a deep breath on that. Worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. Doesn't that go right along with It's All Good? What you are aspiring for, what you are trying to achieve on the catalytic heart awakening path is not always what you think it is. It's not always what you want it to be. But this worth waiting for card is promising something. It's promising that as you go forward on this journey and you put in the work and the effort and the tears and the releasing and the letting go, that you will be overjoyed, that it will be so worth this whole path to where it's leading you. But it's all in divine timing, and this is a trust the process card. So this is for the unions that are being made right now, but I also want to emphasize something. If your highest desire is to partner with someone other than your twin flame down the road, if that's your highest good, it's going to be worth waiting for too. So the beauty of it is everything is in divine order. Whatever it is, while you're really not waiting, there's no waiting. We got work to do, people. So it's not like we're waiting. But the love connection, when you are in your highest self, when you are in your highest heart's expression, the connection that you will have in your love life is going to really be worth waiting for. I just had to breathe that one in, because that is the carrot on the stick for a lot of us. You know, there are those of us who have come in that we're always knowing that there is this amazing connection that that we've been waiting for, and you know, it doesn't go away. And I do think that those of us who have come in for that is what we're here to experience. Now, that's not necessarily everybody, although I do believe that everybody's hearts are opening, everybody's moving into ascension, everyone's getting into their own authentic identities and bringing in more and more of their higher self. But I don't think that everyone is motivated by this heart connection, that it's two is one, you know, the twin flame, one being, you know, one soul experiencing reality in two separate bodies, but being so interconnected through the fabric of their being that they cannot really separate, even if they want to. There's those of us that have come in like that. And for those of us who are, we're being promised that it is definitely worth waiting for. And you will, if you just allow for the process to do its thing and we look at the divine timing, it's going to pay off and it's going to be worth waiting for. The last card that I will pull in this reading is an Ascended Master card. This is my favorite deck. I actually got this. This was one of my, I think it might even have been my first deck when I was, you know, Kalina Malnar and I were spending a lot of time together, and she got this deck and then I got this deck. And of course there's a Katumi card in here, and I just absolutely love Katumi. This is a special deck for me, and I always pull this as the last card because I want to find out what is the overall message from the Ascended Masters based, you know, for this period of work. So this period of work is the weekend. And again, I want to say, if you pick up this reading and you see it any other time because it draws you to it, it just means that that's the period of time you're supposed to work on this. And I think I might actually start after the period of time that it's up. I might write healing work on It's All Good or something, so that people can come along later and still get the benefits of working on this and what this has to offer us. All right, so let's see, what do the Ascended Masters have to say? All right, this is the first card that flipped out. Oh my God. You know, this is like I'm going to keep this one too, but it's my favorite card in the deck, actually. Besides Katumi. Katumi, I love your card too, but freedom. All right. There is a great deal of freedom that comes along with trusting your process and knowing that everything is happening for a reason. There's a great deal of freedom to know that you have the information you need to make decisions that you need to make. There's a great deal of freedom that comes from knowing that divine timing is going to determine the outcome of your loving relationship, and that it's going to be worth waiting for. And there's a great deal of freedom when you know that the financial aspects are going to flourish because of your ability to let go. So this is where, again, gratitude, when you go into a place of gratitude, it gives you a great deal of freedom. And I don't know about you guys, but the one thing that has been the hardest for me in the twin flame path is the feeling of not being free. I don't know how many times you guys might say, oh God, I want to cut cords. I want to get out of here. I can't take anymore, blah. You know, this is what you want. You want your freedom. The beauty of it is that the love that you're waiting for is all about freedom. There are no patterns of imperfection that make you feel codependent. There's no patterns of imperfection that make you feel jealousy or anger or rage or all these things that we can feel sometimes in human relationships. The freedom from all of that discordant energy, the freedom to be your highest self and to share your highest experience with another person. And that is what a lot of us have been waiting for. I'm going to look at this extra card. Take charge of this situation. What this card has always meant to me is it's not time to do something necessarily. I think you can do something. I think if there's something to do and it shows up before you in your moment of now, that, you know, you take charge. But I really think that this is more about conscious decision. In this particular reading, this is about a conscious decision to let go. You're literally taking charge by letting go. Because your higher self, your entourage of angels and ascended masters and animal totems and, you know, all of the entourage that you have that's here with you, they know what this is for. Your higher self knows what this is for. You literally take charge of the situation by surrendering and believing. Let me see, where's this go? And believing that it's all good. I'm going to go back and I'm going to read this card again. I like to do that at the end so that we can look at what we've just looked at. And every experience you have in your lifetime has the potential to be a teaching tool. All right? By remembering and embracing this idea, the situations you encounter become less and less fraught with unneeded emotion and drama. That, to me, is this card. Freedom! Freedom from drama. Freedom from all the negative emotions. Freedom from the fear of being trapped. Freedom from, you know, being in circumstances that you can't control. All right? By not attaching labels or expectations to people and situations, you allow the pure divine energy to flow unimpeded. And there's that, I like that card with the round circle, the flow, almost like a wormhole if you look at it, all right? While you may have a little control over what happens to you at times, you always have control over how you react. You can actually look at every circumstance you have with gratitude and wonder and awe. Wow. Look at what's happening to me that's moving this process along for me. Right? Do you strike out at others when you feel hurt? Do you crawl into a safe place when the world seems mean? That's the time to decide. It's time to decide. Is that how you want to choose to respond? Right? So there's your time to decide how you're going to do that. Are you going to crawl into a hole? Are you going to strike out at others? Or are you going to face the challenge head on? And what does that do? Again, brings you a great deal of freedom. And if you know that what you're waiting for is so well worth it, it makes it easier to do that. So being thankful for any experience or opportunity that's happening is actually what is meant by this card. Take charge of the situation. Make a conscious choice. Make a conscious choice to let go and trust the process and that everything's in good time. And then set a goal of learning for every situation. Find the silver lining. It's there. Isn't that interesting? Because isn't that what we're doing with these readings? That's what we're doing. And that's why I was guided to do these readings. Because we literally are setting a goal for ourselves. I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to focus on this particular thing for this period of time. And there's all kinds of reasons why I'm doing that. And you can see, if you look at all of these cards that we had to go on, the amount of different patterns that we can physically release and let go of is phenomenal. So I really hope that this has been of help to you. I really hope that this reading brought you some guidance and some help. The next reading I am going to be doing will be, I will upload a reading on Sunday night for Monday through Friday. Another gentle reminder again about our workshop that is coming up on Sunday. There is a link below that you can, that you can use to sign up. If you would like to have a reading with me, either one of these readings or a reading for Twin Flames or just for your own personal situation, I do several different readings. There's a link to that also. I am Debbie DuBois. I can be followed on Facebook at True Sacred Union. My website is True Sacred Union. I have 2 Facebook groups. One is True Sacred Union. And the other is Raising Vibrational Frequencies, which is, focused on general high vibrational subjects. I also have this YouTube channel. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel if you'd like to get these in and indicate with the little bell that you want to be notified when these readings come out. These two, the reading that I'm doing, the weekly oracle, is going to come out on Sunday nights. That's going to be available Monday through Friday, and then Friday night typically, although today I am behind because I had some technical difficulties, then the weekend Oracle Outlook is released on Friday night or Saturday morning. I am also going to be doing some more different kinds of readings just for the fun of it because I'm just having a ball with my cards. So it's something I'm enjoying doing in my pastime. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments below. Again, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Facebook, come join my groups. I'd love to interact with you all. And thank you so much. Have a great, blessed weekend. Namaste.